How do Ukrainian women react to a guy that act cocky, trying to understand their personality views? Well, usually they don't really like it that much, you know, they're just, they find, I guess, not necessarily confident modesty, if there is modest confidence, whatever you want to put it, more attractive overall. I mean, there can, you know, could be some people that are attracted to that, but usually they're not a big fan of those attitudes. 2 children, you know, in most of the cases is more than enough. I mean, of course you can run into a girl that you might want to have 3 kids, but it's more than an exception to the rule. So, I mean, you know, people like the, you know, Ukraine economy is not that good, so, you know, people are not expecting to raise 3 children, because you can imagine how difficult it is financially, and plus, you know, it's a little bit of different mentality in Eastern Europe when it comes to parenting, you know, because of the economical situation, generations of people end up living together. So quite often you can see, you know, kids living with parents till they get 30-something, 40, you know, they're still living with parents and grandparents, and so there could be 2, 3, 4 generations of people living in the same household. So they just don't move out, you know. I mean, if they can afford, great, but, you know, to rent an apartment in Ukraine is fairly expensive. So, I mean, unless you have a really good job, it is challenging. So yeah, you end up staying in your, you know, in the household where you grew up, you're not going anywhere. So imagine if there are 3 kids, they're teens, they're not going anywhere, they're staying in that apartment. So you just imagine, if it's 2-bedroom apartment, you have 3 adult kids, parents, and possibly grandparents. It's just you know, too many people. That's why, you know, people try to think ahead. That's why they try not to have 3 kids, so they will not end up having 3 adults at their places. From Dennis, have you ever heard of a guy riding a woman and marrying her in the service? I'm not trying to understand the question. I mean, so just marrying the person whom he'd been writing to? I mean, that's the question. Yes, I mean, of course that happens, but also it quite often happens is, you know, people, you know, write to each other, then they meet in person and find out there is no either chemistry or there is something else is wrong, because in the letter it's one thing, we get one impression of a person, but real life is slightly different, and quite often guys end up marrying a totally different person from whom they've been writing to. But yeah, I mean, I also know the cases that people have been, you know, corresponding and meeting, and everything goes just exactly as they dreamed, and they get married. That happens too, but it's a gamble. So, you know, just it's always good to have a plan B. So let's hope your plan A works and you end up marrying the one you're writing, but also just be prepared. So as far as letters from 18-year-old girls, well, you know, I mean, we cannot tell them whom to write and whom not to write. It's, you know, it's their own preferences. Plus, 18 years old, they don't know what they're doing, really. So, you know, they mean well, but they're just, you know, they just send messages. They don't think much. They just want to see what comes out of it. If something good comes out of it, good. If not, well, who cares? They're 18, they have the whole life ahead of them. So they're gonna be exploring all the options simply because of the lack of life experience, you know. And again, and who are we to tell them not to do that? I mean, I personally, you know, don't think it's a good idea to write to 18-year-old and vice versa, but, you know, it is what it is. From Mark, and I don't think John can speak English some days without Mountain Dew, let alone Russian. I will copy and text it to him. That's gonna be my text message to John for the night. Thank you. Although, you know, he quit his Mountain Dew, he really needs it. Okay.